What is going on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch? How's everybody doing tonight? This is another episode of 717 Live, Sports Chat Live. Let me correct that. 717 Sports Chat Live. Sorry about the quick little mistake. How's everybody doing tonight? It was a really, really hot, muggy day today out in the 717. It's been out like this the past 2 days. The summer's been quite amazing. We've had really good weather, fortunately, but these last 2 days, it's like, yeah, it's not the type of summer weather you really want to be out in. But how's everybody doing tonight, man? Everybody chilling, watching this game between the Clippers and the Suns. It's a really good game. It's a close one. We're going to touch on that as well as recap game 4 a little bit since I got to miss that over the weekend and stuff. But for tonight's topics, I wanted to do this video earlier. Fortunately, I have other obligations to fulfill in terms of, I went and got a new merch store for the channel and stuff. I won't be on Teesprings anymore. I'll have more information on that sooner, rather than later, probably within the next day or two. I changed up my merchandise store because Teesprings is a little bit limited, especially with men's colors and t-shirts and stuff. For Printify, I get a little bit more options to range from. So my quality with my merch will be a lot better now that I switched to Printify. But for tonight's topics, we're going to talk about last night's game 3 between the Bucks and the Hawks. The Bucks take a 2-1 series lead behind Chris Middleton's 38 points. He dropped 20 in the fourth quarter. Had a really big fourth quarter. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the even bigger story coming out of that game, which is Trae Young. He's re-sprained that right ankle that has been – it was kind of like loosely sprained throughout, off and on throughout the season. I won't even say throughout the season, towards the end of the season, he was able to play on it. But last night he really sprained it pretty good to where now he has a questionable mark for game 4. Obviously, we're going to talk about the Suns Clippers. I'm going to recap game 4 a little bit. And then I labeled it game 5 preview. Obviously, the game is now in session. So we're just going to talk about how it's playing out. Chauncey Billups is now the new head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. What does that mean for Dame Lillard? We're going to talk about that. The Dallas Mavericks hired Jason Kidd as their head coach as well. We're going to talk about that as well and what that means for Luka Doncic and maybe Kristaps Porzingis going forward. Also got some UFC news in terms of Civil Gane dominates Vladimir Volkov this weekend. Earns an interim title shot. It was just reported earlier that he earned an interim title shot against Derek Lewis. So Derek Lewis won't be fighting Francis Ngannou next. He'll be fighting Civil Gane for the interim title. As other UFC news, ex-UFC light heavyweight champ Rashad Evans comes out of retirement, is willing to box either Roy Jones Jr. or Logan Paul, as well as compete in MMA as well. We're going to touch on that. And I made a video about it the other night. Gervonta Tank Davis defeated Mario Barrios at 140 pounds to capture his third world title in third weight class. As many weight classes. We're going to recap on that as well. But obviously, our first topic, we're going to start off with Chris Middleton. Drops 20 in the fourth quarter. Drops 38 total as the Bucks take a 2-1 series lead in Atlanta. It's also worth to note Giannis had a big game as well with 33 points, 11 rebounds, few assists. Basically, though, this was a Chris Middleton show. I mean, he did a little bit of everything. He had, I think, 38 points, 13, I want to say 11 and 13 rebounds himself, about 7 assists. So he was balling last night. And it was only a matter of time before he gets hot. He goes through this where he'll have dry spells, like the first couple games of the series where he was 6 of 23 to one game, had only 15 points. And then he can come out and have games like this. Once this guy can get in his rhythm, the Bucks are a whole different team. Excuse me. Completely different team. And he was the difference last night in the game because for most of the game, the Hawks led this game. The Hawks had a double-digit lead, had a 15-point lead in the first quarter. And then that obviously evaporated. The Bucks slowly started to chip away. But it really in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, became the Chris Middleton show. He couldn't miss. When a guy gets hot like that, there's basically nothing you can do. And then it's also worth to note Trae Young did get hurt, towards the tail end of the third quarter. And, obviously with Bogdan Bogdanović being a little bit hurt as well for Atlanta, that kind of, hindered their offense, and nobody else was really doing anything in terms of Kevin Huerter. John Collins was in foul trouble most of the night. So, I mean, before he got into foul trouble, he was putting up numbers. He was, doing real well. He was getting in the low post. He was shooting easy mid-range shots. He was getting, getting some easy looks and banking on them. It's just he couldn't stay out of foul trouble. But even if Trae Young, and mind you, Trae Young was really hot last night. Trae Young was really hot last night. He bounced back from that poor shooting performance in game 2. But even if he wouldn't have got hurt, I feel like just Chris Middleton could not miss, and I feel like that the result would have been the same. It wouldn't have changed. The result would have been the same because this guy just got insanely hot. No matter who they threw at him, he was shooting over him, banging them in. And when a guy gets hot like that, like I said, there's virtually nothing you can do about it. What can you do? You know what I mean? You can put the best defense you can on him if he's shooting over your head and still making it. But Chris Middleton drops 20 in the fourth quarter, 38 total as the Bucks take a 2-1 series lead in Atlanta. And game 4 will be tomorrow in Atlanta. The Bucks have a chance to go up 3-1 in that. Moving on, Trae Young has sprained his ankle and is questionable for game 4. I think it is highly doubtable that he plays this game. The way that in the fourth quarter he just looked hurt, like he didn't want to play, like it looked like that ankle was really, really bothering him. The tag says questionable. I'm going to go more or less with he's not playing tomorrow. And if he does play, he's not going to make it past maybe the first or second quarter. Just the way that he slipped on that ankle like that, and the way that he responded in the fourth quarter, basically he just looked like a decoy out there. He didn't look like Trae Young. That ankle was really, really getting to him. And I think that he does not play this game tomorrow night. I just really don't. You know what I mean? Just with the way he could barely run it up and down the court without grimacing last night after that ankle sprain. I think because of his toughness and who he is, he'll go. I think he'll try, but you know what I mean, it's a touch and go subject. It depends, I guess, all how it feels and what painkillers are going to put him on, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on for tomorrow night. And it's obvious if Trae Young doesn't play, the Hawks finals chances to come back in the series against Milwaukee is all but dead, in my opinion. Especially with Bogdanovich being hurt as well. He's looking awful with 3 of 15, 3 of 16 from the field, 2 of 10 from threes. Like, he's banged up as well. And, man, the injury bug really killed the NBA playoffs this year. It really did, man. And it's unfortunate for Trae Young and the Hawks, this Cinderella story. If it ends like this, with Trae Young not being able to play either the next game or even the rest of the series, it's a damn shame it had to end that way, because I had to give props, even as a Philly fan. It's been a hell of a run for Atlanta. So for it to end like this with the injury bug, no, this whole playoffs have been cursed with the injury bug. So for this Cinderella run of the Atlanta Hawks to end like this, if Trae Young does not play in game 4, if he does not play in game 5, or for the rest of the series in general, you know what I mean? It really sucks. I appreciate that, bro. For some reason, it won't let me show. It won't show your name as it says Facebook user. I assume because I'm on my first domain that I went to was YouTube when I went on my multiple platforms, because I can get on 3 platforms, etc. So I can't see your name. Let me look up on Facebook right now, actually. Got you, my man. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you. I appreciate the love, brother. Appreciate the love much, man. Honestly, appreciate the love, and I'm definitely going to get a hold of you probably this weekend sometime, because I want to do that UFC preview as well. I didn't do that yet, and we are about a week out from the fight, so perfect timing. But if you're watching this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. As well, if you want to, it's your choice. If you want to donate to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Donations will go towards better cameras, better artwork for the background, etc., etc. Just making this show a lot better for you, the viewer. So donations would be greatly appreciated. There goes the donate link right there. You can also hit it up in my YouTube description links. Hashtag MJW62089. If you choose to, that's cool. If not, I understand. Times can be hard, etc. Just drop that like and hit that subscribe button to show your support. I already know, Mikey. Yeah, I know, Mikey. Don't even worry. I got you. I'm definitely hit you up this weekend about that. Definitely. But once again, Trae Young sprains his ankle, is questionable for Game 4 tomorrow. Like I said, if the Hawks, if he doesn't play the rest of the series, or even if he's not 100%, if he looks like he did in that fourth quarter, Hawks are out of here. They have no shot whatsoever. Trae Young has to play for this team to have a shot. If Bogdanovich was healthy enough to carry the offensive load, then I maybe have a little bit more, a little bit more trust in the Hawks' chances. But just without Trae Young, that's their guy, that's their star. I just don't think they have a chance to beat Milwaukee without him. Once again, thank you, Mikey. I appreciate the love, brother. I appreciate the love. Moving on, we're going to cover real quick Suns-Clippers Game 4. I want to talk about this game, even though Game 5 is happening right now, and obviously LA's on up by 9 in the third quarter. The reason why I wanted to talk about the Suns-Clippers Game 4 real quick is because that was one of the most old-school games you will ever see. The final score was 84-80. That was a slow-paced defensive game, a hard-fought defensive basketball game right there, ladies and gentlemen. And in terms of a defensive standpoint, and I know, don't get me wrong, a lot of offense is a sexy pick, is what people want to see, a lot of points put up on the board. You know what I mean? But me, I like defense. I like lockdown defense. To me, defense wins championships. So that was a really good defensive battle. But it wasn't more or less the Suns winning that Game 3 and Game 4 than it was the Clippers losing that game. They had multiple opportunities to win that game. And Paul George choked at the line. Other guys choked at the line. They just choked in general. This team has a knack for choking. And it's just, there's nothing else you can say. They choked. They had so many opportunities. That Game 4, the Clippers should have won. They should have won that game. They should have. There's no excuse for it. There should have been no way they lost that game with as many opportunities. Neither team, though, could buy a bucket. The stat line in the fourth quarter was Phoenix made 4 19 field goals and LA made 3 19 field goals. So neither team could really buy a bucket. Now, moving on to this Game 5, obviously, right now it's 71-62 in the third quarter. Clippers are up by 9. You know what I mean? So the story is, for me, is from what I've been watching, is Boogie Cousins. You know what I mean? Because as everybody knows, if you're watching this game, Ivica Zubac is out for the Clippers with an MCL sprain. And that's a big blow to the Clippers because that man's been balling, and he matches up really well with DeAndre Ayton. So the fact that if Ivica Zubac has been out, a lot of the questions has been was how many minutes would Boogie Cousins see? I was actually on I was in the chat box at Awesemo DFS earlier. I keep a hold of that, DraftKings and fantasy stuff like that. And I actually asked the guys how many minutes do they think Boogie Cousins would project for tonight, and they ran for about 12. And if I'm not mistaken, he might have even been playing a little bit more than that so far. And he has 10 points in his game. So obviously Boogie Cousins has been a nice insertion. If you add the score right now, 71-62, without Boogie Cousins' 10 points, the Clippers would be down by 1 point. So obviously Boogie Cousins has came in and put in some work for the Clippers, and obviously they got to keep it going if they want to keep off Phoenix at home and avoid elimination tonight. But basically what the Clippers got to do to win this game is not choke. That's all they got to do. They've had multiple opportunities. In the games they lost in Phoenix, they just choke. That's just what it is. They choke. So the key, obviously, is don't choke. If you got the opportunities, make the most of the opportunities. I mean, especially at the free throw line. Paul George, an 80+% free throw shooter. He's a really good free throw shooter. He's missing 2 straight, like in clutch time. Like the pressure, the pressure. You got to stop letting the pressure get to you. This is what you're here for. You know what I mean? If you feel pressure in the conference finals, imagine the pressure in the finals. So, and for the Clippers, and the Suns just cut the lead to 4. It's 71-67 now. See? This is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, the Clippers cannot choke. They got to stay on them. When they have a lead, they just got to stay on them. They have a knack for blowing leads and choking at the last minute, especially in the fourth quarter. See, Boogie Cousins is in now. Got the ball fade away and banged him. See? So Boogie Cousins is definitely a nice little addition for them tonight, especially with Ivica Zubac being out. I was really, really interested to see what would happen if Zubac was out, and I kind of figured they'd play Boogie more minutes, but I also kind of thought that the Clippers would play more small ball and put Batum and Marcus Morris at the 5, and obviously that's not happening. Excuse me, which is a good thing because Ayton's a big boy, so you got to match that size with size. And to me, you know, Batum and Marcus Morris are a little bit too small for Ayton. So that was a good little roster move by Tyronn Lue. Hopefully it works out for him. The Clippers are up by 9 right now with 4:30 left to go in the third quarter. All right, we are going to move on to the next topic, and that is Chauncey Billups, former Detroit Piston, former journeyman in general, but everybody knows Chauncey from his days, championship-winning days in Detroit back in 2003-4 season. Larry Brown, the coach of that team with Rip Hamilton, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. Chauncey Billups is now the new head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. I find this very interesting because now what does it mean for Damian Lillard? Well, there's been rumors speculating that Damian Lillard will ask for a trade, being that obviously Portland has not been able to compete for a championship. The closest they got was about 2-3 seasons ago when they made it to the West Finals and got blown off the court. So Dame is kind of feeling like he's given all he's had to Portland. He wants to go to a team that might have a couple more superstars to where he can win a title and win a championship. But this is interesting to me because Chauncey Billups has championship pedigree, obviously as a player, and he's one of the better basketball minds that this game still has. So it's interesting to see what will Chauncey bring to the table in terms of, can he convince Damian Lillard, look, stay here. This is what I want to put together. Trust this process, and we will get a championship. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting conversation for Chauncey Billups and Dame to have because I like Chauncey Billups. I like this move. I like this move by the Trailblazers. I think it's a good move. I think because Chauncey Billups is a guy that some superstars would want to play for because he is a good ambassador for the sport and a good mind for the sport. I think Dame should at least, even though I would like Dame to come to Philly, I think that Dame should give it the benefit of the doubt to hear what Chauncey Billups has to say and see what his vision is and to see if they can make something out of it. You know, they have some assets. I mean, what are you going to do with C.J. McCollum? Are you going to move him? Are you going to move Nurkic? Because Nurkic isn't happy with his situation in the Blazers offense. There's a lot, to pick apart here in this Portland roster to maybe go get some players to put around Dame that could better suit this team to win a championship. Maybe go get a guy to me, Zach LaVine and C.J. McCollum are kind of the same player. I would even give C.J. McCollum a nod based on health. So if I'm Portland, it's more or less what do you do with the roster and how do you – if you're Chauncey Billups in the front office, how do you convince Damian Lillard to not request a trade and want to stay with this team? Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this subject right here. Chauncey Billups is the new head coach for the Portland Trail Blazers. If there's any Trail Blazers fans out there that happen to stumble across this video, let me know what you guys think. Do you like the move? Do you not like the move? Do you think that Dame Lillard will still ask for a trade regardless of who they brought in as coach? Even though Chauncey Billups, and why I say Chauncey Billups is a good move is because you see guys like Tyronn Lue and himself come from the factory of Doc Rivers coaching and stuff. And you see what Tyronn Lue has done. So I like this move. I really do. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. Good move for Portland. Bad move for Portland. Will it make Dame stay? Will it make Dame still want to go? Also, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. It's the 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. As well as if you want to, again, if you want to donate to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Hashtag MJW62089. All donations, like I said, will go towards new camera work, new artwork for the background, anything towards the show to make the show for you, the viewer, better. So if you want to donate, there goes the cash tag on the screen right there. Hashtag MJW62089. As well as if you happen to not see this video, but still happen to fall upon the channel or get led on to the channel by, a third party. If you want to donate to the channel, hit that donation link in the description. It is in my About section on my YouTube page. Moving on, another coaching hire. Man, this last week has been really ridiculous for coaching hires. You got Boston hiring their new coach and Ndukwe, and now you got, like I said, chaucey billups, get going to Portland, and now the Dallas Mavericks has hired former player and Hall of Famer and former champion with the Dallas Mavericks, Jason Kidd, as their new head coach. There was reports coming out about this last week that they were eyeing hiring Jason Kidd. They were in deep talks with putting pen to paper, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. I mean, me personally, if I'm a Mavs fan, I don't know if I like this move too much, and I'm not a Mavs fan, so what do I really care? But as a sports fan, as a basketball fan, I'm going to give my opinion on this because I don't know if I like this. Jason Kidd has been known to kind of be a prick to play for. And with guys like Luka, who has shown to kind of have like that, he's a little soft, man. He don't like somebody, kind of barking in his face. I don't know if this is a good fit. Just like when Stan Van Gundy got hired by the New Orleans Pelicans, I said it. This is a bad fit because that guy is straight old school, and these young kids don't like to be told what to do anymore. They kind of want to be the coaches on the court. I kind of feel the same way about this hiring from the Mavericks with Jason Kidd. I don't know if I like it. I don't know, man. Like, one could say, oh, well, him and Luka Doncic, because Jason Kidd was a really great point guard, and, he can make Luka even a better facilitator and maybe a better visionary on the court than he is. I don't know about that because, like I said, Jason Kidd has the knack for being a prick and kind of throwing his players under the bus and saying what's on his mind. And sometimes, especially in this day and age in the NBA, that could lead to bad relationships with your players. Now, me personally, I'm all for the honesty. You know what I mean? I'm all for the honesty. But he has the tendency of more throwing the players under the bus, but not holding responsibility for his coaching. And that's why I don't know if this is a good move by Dallas. It will remain to be seen. If there's any Mavericks fans out there watching this video, hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. I personally don't like it. I don't think it's a good move. You know what I mean? One could say, oh, well, kind of, want to baby these players if you want them to hire a coach who's just going to, kind of let them be the coaches on the court. Well, unfortunately, this is the NBA we live in right now. That's the truth. The players run the team. That's the truth. So, and with an old school guy like Jason Kidd, and he's hard knocks, and like I said, he'll throw his players under the bus and won't take much responsibility for his coaching. I don't know if this is a good move for Dallas. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. Whether you're a Mavericks fan or just an NBA fan in general, what do you guys think about the Dallas Mavericks hiring Jason Kidd as their next head coach? I don't like it. If I'm Dallas fans, I'm worried. Because you've seen it in Milwaukee. And I want to say, he even had a job with the Knicks, but it didn't last long. But either way, whatever coaching job he has had, whatever coaching job he had before, it didn't work. Why? Because of his attitude. And the players came out saying he's a dick. So, I don't know. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Whether you're a Dallas fan or an NBA fan, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of Jason Kidd being hired by the Dallas Mavericks? Me personally, I don't like it. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. This is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. And we are now going to move on to the next topic in this conversation, in this show. And Mikey, if you were still watching, you're going to be happy because the next two topics we got are UFC topics, my friend. Civil Gane dominates Volkov. If I'm not mistaken, Vladimir Volkov. I can never get these guys' name right. You know what I mean? Some of these, overseas guys' name, and I don't want to be disrespectful and get their first names wrong, etc. So the last name is more easier for me to go with. But Gane dominates Volkov, and it has been reported earlier that he has now earned an interim title shot against Derek Lewis. So there's a lot to unpack here. So now we know that Derek Lewis will not be fighting Francis Ngannou next. He'll be fighting Civil Gane for the interim title down the road here. That's been announced. I don't know what UFC event just been announced that there will be an interim title shot. I didn't get into detail. I don't know if they named what event they're going to have it or if there's going to be an event of its own, maybe like UFC 265, 266 or something or whatnot. But Gane dominates Volkov. He didn't knock him out or anything. It was a dominant decision. He showed versatility. He showed that he just does it. He's not just a guy who can finish you within a round or two. He can go the distance. And I thought that's what in so many ways he needed to do, especially against a guy like Volkov, who is known for his cardio and is known for being a pretty durable heavyweight. And he's still obviously a very good fighter in himself. He's one of the top heavyweights in the world. So this was a big step-up win for Gane. And it obviously worked out in his favor because he said he wanted to fight Francis Ngannou. He called him out, at the end of the fight. Well, now he moves at least one step closer to that fight in terms of fighting Derek Lewis and getting him interim title shot. So hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about Gane's performance on Saturday. And do you think he has earned a title shot this early? Do you think there's other guys, before him that maybe deserve it? Like maybe Lewis should have just got straight up the title shot against Francis Ngannou, should have got his rematch. See, I think the reason why UFC made this fight happen is because the UFC is iffy about booking Lewis and Ngannou too because of how much of a snooze fest the first one was. Me personally, I think being that Ngannou has gotten over his spell of, not being engaged in the fight. Like when he lost to Stipe, he went through that spell of like where he just wasn't in a good place mentally. I feel like that fight the second fight between them two would be a lot better than the first fight because I feel like Francis would engage more and that would prompt Lewis obviously to engage more. But obviously that's not the fight we're getting next. We're getting Civil Gane versus Derek Lewis next. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think Gane deserved a title shot, the interim title shot? Do you think somebody else deserved it? Me personally, we already seen Stipe and Ngannou too. John Jones, we don't know when he's going to fight. I'm okay with this. The guy's undefeated. He's moved himself up through the ranks. He just beat a top 10 heavyweight. So now he gets an interim title shot. I'm not opposed to this at all. I think he's earned it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Civil Gane deserved a title shot, interim title shot against Derek Lewis? Do you think Derek Lewis should have got the title shot against Francis Ngannou outright? You know what I mean? Or do you like this fight? I personally like this fight. Because now you get a clear-cut number one contender. Once again, Civil Gane dominates Volkov, earns interim title shot against Derek Lewis. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this topic. If you're a UFC fan, let me know. If you're a Civil Game fan, let me know what you guys think. If you're a Derek Lewis fan, who you got winning this fight? You got Gane beating Lewis? Do you got Lewis beating Gane? And what do you guys have? Will it be by knockout, decision, submission? I don't think it's definitely going the full distance. I think somebody is getting knocked out. But I want to know what you guys think. Hit that comment section. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are also now on Twitch. Also, if you're on Facebook, look up the group name, 717 Sports Chat Live Group. If you want to join the group, if you're a sports fan, hop on in the group. I'll accept the invite. It's made to the public. If you want to come in and join the 717 Sports Chat Live Group, definitely more fanfare is definitely appreciated and wanted, and more support. But once again, Civil Game dominates Volkov, earns an interim title shot against Derek Lewis. Let me know what you guys think about this fight. Who do you think wins? Who do you think goes on to face Francis Ngannou into the undisputed title fight later on, either later on this year or early next year? I think it could possibly later on this year that the winner out of this fight, Gane and Lewis, will fight Francis Ngannou before Christmas or by Christmas. I think that's what they're setting it up for. Also, again, if you want to, if you choose to, you can donate to the show. Pull the link up right here real quick. If you choose to, donate to the show. It'd be greatly appreciated. Even if it's $1, $2, it don't got to be a big donation. Any donation is appreciated. Like I said, donations will go towards new camera work, new artwork, new anything for the show. I'm really trying to build my brand up, trying to build this show up to be something to where I can stay at home and focus on this every single day and this be like my full-time job. So any support is needed. You know what I mean? And accept it and appreciate it. If you want to donate to the show, MJW, cash tag MJW62089. You can also catch that link in the About section of my YouTube channel page. Hashtag MJW62089 if you want to donate to the show. If you don't, it's understandable. You don't have to. Just please be sure to hit that like button and subscribe on my videos. It'd be greatly appreciated. Share my videos if you know sports fans. If you know people who love to chat sports all day or for a couple hours out the day on certain topics, put them onto the show. Share these videos. It'd be greatly appreciated. The love and support, all the love and support, would be greatly appreciated. Like this video. Hit that like button, hit subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Moving on, in other UFC news, and this is my favorite topic of the whole show right here, is ex-light heavyweight champion Sugar Rashad Evans comes out of retirement, willing to box Roy Jones Jr. or Logan Paul, as well as compete in MMA. Well, I'm going to unpack MMA first. Me personally, I don't think he should compete in any more MMA events. I feel like he's 41 years old. There's nothing left to prove. This MMA is a young man sport. Every fan, casual fan or diehard fan knows that. There's only one Randy Couture. There's only guys that come around like that every so often, or like a Bernard Hopkins. So many guys come around like that so often. And to me, why Rashad Evans is just not suited for him to me to compete in MMA is because the last few times I saw him, he had a lot of issues with his cardio. And I just felt like the years of wear and tear really broke him down. I just don't think in MMA he really should be trying to do that. But he's a fighter, and he's obviously a legend. And he's going to choose to do whatever he wants to do. I'll watch him fight. I've liked Rashad Evans. But in terms of boxing, now that's interesting. In terms of boxing, that's really interesting. Because, Roy Jones Jr., well, it depends what weight. Because if we're talking about Roy Jones Jr. fighting at the weight he fought Mike Tyson at, I don't want to watch it. I don't. Because Roy just, with all that weight packed on, Roy, he just didn't, he looked so sloppy and tired. And it just didn't, that 205, 210 frame for Roy in terms of fighting at that weight, being that he never fought at that weight before, I don't like it. So if it's going to be maybe at a catch weight, maybe about 195, 200, then okay, I can go with that. And people say, well, excuse me, why? What about, Roy coming in at 210? That's not much of a weight difference. Trust me, weight matters, man. Whether you're coming in heavy or you're coming in light, weight matters, especially if you're a lighter guy who's always been a lighter guy your whole life and you're moving up in weight. That extra pounds can make you sluggish, especially when your body is not used to carrying that weight. We've seen it happen with with Deontay Wilder in his last fight with Tyson Fury. People can say, oh, it was the 40-pound suit. No, it was the fact that he literally gained 22 pounds from their first fight where he weighed 209 and he gained 22 pounds to 231 just to add extra power so that when he did touch Fury, maybe this time he'd knock him out. And that made him sluggish. That made him lose his speed that he did have. His legs, he wasn't able to move. When you pack on weight like that, especially if you're a lighter guy, that could be very detrimental, especially when you rely on movement like Roy does and reflexes. So if they're going to fight at a catch weight at maybe 200, okay, or 185. So I think the last time Rashad fought was at 185. I think he was middleweight. If you can definitely meet me around that frame, then I'll definitely watch that fight between Roy Jones Jr. and Rashad Evans, because that's more Roy's weight to me. That's more of his comfortable weight. Even though he's an older man, obviously, still, that's more Roy's weight. I'd watch it just based on that. Now, in terms of Logan Paul, I mean, I'm not so much of wanting to see Logan Paul get beat up as much as his brother. It's his brother, like I said before in my previous videos I made, that I want to see get beat up more than anything, because his brother pops a lot of shit and really thinks he's a real boxer, and he's not, and he needs to be brought back to earth. Logan Paul, he's just more, like he says, the Maverick. He just wants to do things that nobody can say they ever did before. And I respect that. I like that about him. You know what I mean? I do. And if he does talk a little bit of shit, he knows he's not that serious about it. You could tell he knows he's not that serious. You know what I mean? Even though he might train and put the training in and put the work in like he's serious, he's not as serious as about it as his brother claims as his brother Jake claims it to be. So for me, my opinion on him fighting Rashad Evans, fighting Logan Paul, will be more about money. It would be more about money than anything. I don't think him fighting Logan Paul is more about the beef of these guys thinking they're real fighters. You know what I mean? It's more, it's a money grab. You know what I mean? Now, in terms of Roy Jones Jr., I think Rashad would more or less take that more seriously as a real fight than an exhibition. Of course, we know both fights will probably be labeled as exhibitions, most likely, especially with Roy and Rashad being in advanced ages. You know what I mean? But it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a 40-plus, 50-year-old man in a boxing ring before. We've seen it with Bernard Hopkins, and it wasn't an exhibition. It was a real fight. So we could very much well see Rashad Evans fight Roy Jones Jr. in a real fight and not an exhibition. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about Sugar Rashad Evans coming out of retirement, willing to still compete in MMA, but he's also willing to box Roy Jones Jr. or Logan Paul? Who would you like to see Rashad Evans fight out of retirement? Would you, if he does go back to MMA, who would you like to see him fight in MMA? If he goes to fight, obviously, boxing, would you like to see him fight Roy Jones Jr.? Would you like to see him fight Logan Paul? Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Because me personally, like I said, MMA, Just feel like he's too old. I just feel like he's too old for MMA. It's a young man's sport. But boxing, I can go with that. I can definitely go with that. With boxing, yeah, I can see him doing that. You know what I mean? I can see him doing that. Whether he be successful, I can't give you. I can't tell you that. I don't know. You know what I mean? But you know, it's interesting. Like I like Sugar Rashad Evans, so it's interesting to see what direction he's going to take. I mean, everything's going to matter when everything's going to really see with these exhibitions how these going to take a turn when Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul fight. I think that's the direction we're going to see that what that's when we're going to have a clear-cut path for these exhibition style fights, see who's going to fight after that happens. Because I genuinely think that Rashad wants to fight Jake Paul, but he would fight Logan Paul first just to, you know what I mean, kind of send a warning shot. But hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see Sugar Rashad Evans come out of retirement? Do you want to see him stay in retirement and not risk his health? Do you like this move? Do you think he can compete at 41 years old in an octagon? Do you think he can still be competitive and give any world-class fighter today a run for their money? Or do you think he should go to boxing, do these exhibition-style boxing matches, make the most money he's ever going to make in his life? Because, you know, especially in his day, I'm sure UFC barely paid him right because they have a hard time paying the fighters right now. So I honestly would like to see Rashad Evans do that. Get your money, bro. You've earned it. You know what I mean? Go to boxing and get that money. Whether it's fighting Logan Paul or Roy Jones Jr. Either one I'd be okay with. More or less, I'd be okay if you're fighting Roy that's at least in better shape than he was against Mike Tyson. Because in so many ways, him and Roy Jones Jr., in a way, I want to say, just in a way, they kind of mind you each other in terms of striking, in terms of how they, you know, throw their punches. Rashad was kind of like that, kind of would keep his hands down and be elusive a little bit, but not to the obviously extent as Roy. He wasn't as skilled at it as Roy was. But there's some similarities there. So I would like to see that. I mean, just I don't want to see the blown up version of Roy Jones Jr. I don't want to see that version at all. But that might be the version we get, especially now that he's an older man, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't really feel like applying his craft to losing weight for a fight anymore. So, but once again, ex-UFC light heavyweight champ Sugar Rashad Evans comes out of retirement, willing to box Roy Jones Jr. or Logan Paul, as well as compete in MMA. Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think it's a good move for Rashad Evans to come in and compete in MMA? Do you think it's better if he just goes to boxing, take the money, and see what he can do there? Me personally, I'm going with the boxing. Because I just feel like MMA is a young man's sport. And there's only so many guys like Randy Couture that comes around so often. All right. Moving on to the last topic of the night. And I covered this. I did a 30-minute video. You can go check it out on my YouTube page after the fight the other night. Gervonta Tank Davis wins his third title in as many weight classes. Becomes now a world champion at 130 pounds and 135 pounds and now 140 pounds in boxing. I said it the other night. I'm impressed. I mean, I did not think him moving up to weight, his power would translate the right way. I was wrong. This kid packs a punch. He's just naturally, he's a real knockout artist. This guy just hits, man. He hits you, you most likely go. And he's now has 3 titles in 3 different weight classes. But this last fight to me was his best win. Because Barrios is a really good fighter. And he's another really good, like, up-and-coming, like, top-tier pound-for-pound fighter. As long as he can keep his head on a swivel and not, you know, fall down the path that some boxers fall down and that's, you know, get down on themselves. If he makes the adjustments, if Barrios makes adjustments and keeps honing his craft, that kid's going to be really good still. This was the best win for Gervonta Davis's career so far. I've always given him knacks because I felt like his level of opposition has been much left to be desired. and everybody obviously hypes him up. You know what I mean? And I don't like that because he never really fought nobody. Now I have to give him credit, and I gotta believe the hype was real, not just because he moved out of the weight, but because of the guy he fought. The guy he fought is a really good fighter, and Mario Barrios was winning that fight. He won the first 4 rounds of that fight before Tank start, really closing the distance and start putting his hands on him. And that's why I said the other night, that was basically the story of the fight. Barrios just did not have enough power to keep Tank off of him. See, and that's what's going to be interesting about Tank Davis. Is when he does fight somebody that can, I don't want to say match him with power, but that can hit him hard enough to where he has to adjust and not just say, okay, I'm just going to walk you down because I can take your shots and I'm going to get you out of here. I said that the other night, and I'm saying it now. I'm interested to see who's he going to fight next. I want to see him fight Teofimo Lopez because I feel like Teofimo Lopez has enough power to put a hurting on him. And I think it would be a good proving ground to prove me wrong. Because like I said, don't get me, one can say, oh, well, he just fought a guy who was bigger than him. What more do you want? Just because a guy's bigger than him doesn't mean he packs more power. And that's true. We saw that. That's why Gervonta was able to get him out of there. You know what I mean? Barrios is more of a better, like his punches over time will wear you down. He doesn't have that one-shot kill that Gervonta does. And I'm not saying necessarily that's the type of guy that needs to beat him, but he will fight somebody who has enough power to back him up and make him adjust. And that's when we're going to really see how good this kid is. That's when we're really going to see how good he is. Right now, this is kind of like the Adrian Broner effect. This fight in so many ways reminded me of when Adrian Broner moved up to lightweight and fought Antonio DeMarco, who at that time was pretty good, a pretty good fighter. And at that time when Broner beat him, was considered the best win in Broner's career. That's what I see exactly out of this fight from Tank Davis. Mario Barrios was his Antonio DeMarco. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when he fights a guy with power that can make him adjust and make him think, shit, I just can't walk in here and walk this guy down and get him out with my power. I got to do something else. That's when it's going to get interesting for him. That's what I'm looking forward to, is when this kid faces real pressure, when he gets hit really hard and he can't just walk in there and walk the dude down and, start using start lacing motherfuckers with power shots. That's when it's going to get interesting, is when he's got a guy in front of him who can hit. To me, he hasn't fought anybody really with real power. But be that as it may, Gervonta Tank Davis is a 3-time world champion in a third weight class. I got to give him his respect. I got to give him his credit. He moved up in weight. The power translated to the weight. Like, people didn't expect that. It did. He did what he had to do. Now it's time to fight the top tier guys. Now it's time to fight the guys at 135. Go back down to 135 and fight the guys like Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, Vasily Lomachenko, who just put on a masterclass of a performance and showed that he's still not done yet. I want to see Tank go in this direction next. You got to give me the top fights now, bruh. And you got to give me somebody who actually hits hard. Not somebody who's a light puncher who you can take their punches and walk right through them. Because we've seen it happen with Adrian Broner. When Adrian Broner fought Marcos Maidana, up until that point, Adrian Broner did not fight somebody with real knockout or real raw power. And when he did, he got his ass beat because he did not know how to react to that power. He did not know how to adjust to that power. Unfortunately, I honestly see the same thing happen to Gervonta Tank Davis. But hopefully he can prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. I just think eventually that's what's going to happen. Is when he fights somebody who can hit either just as hard as him or even harder, what's he going to do? I don't think he's been faced with that adversity yet. Hit that comment section and let me know what you guys think about this topic. Gervonta Tank Davis wins his third title in third weight class. Did you like the win? Did you think he proved himself as a top pound-for-pound fighter? Do you think he still has more work to do? Me personally, I think he has more work to do. Hit that comment section, though. I want to know what you guys think. Gervonta Tank Davis wins his third title in as many weight classes by defeating Mario Barrios over the weekend in an 11th round knockout. Who do you guys want to see Tank Davis fight next? Do you want to see him fight Teofimo Lopez? Do you want to see him fight Devin Haney back down to 135? Do you want to see him defend his 140 title belt? Because I don't see him going back down to 130 after this. He's got to vacate that 130. I do not see him making that weight anymore. It's too big. But let me know what you guys think. Do you have Gervonta Tank Davis going back down to 135, challenging the likes of Teofimo Lopez, challenging the likes of Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko, etc.? Or do you think he'll even dare to be even greater and move up to 147 and take the path that Adrian Broner did? And that's move up to welterweight early where all the real big fights are, where all the real big names are. Hit that comment section and let me know what you guys think about this topic. What do you guys think about Gervonta Tank Davis winning his third title in as many weight classes? Do you think the kid's legit, or do you think his own weight class resume is padded much like Adrian Broner's is? For me, right now, I'm going with the padded. He's a three-time world champion in 3 weight classes, but I mean, yeah, you fought Mario Barrios, who was a champion at 140 and considered a top guy. I will give him that. Like I said, this is his best win. But outside of that, the other 2 weight class wins, I mean, yeah, you can say, oh, what about, what's it called, Leo Santa Cruz? Come on, man. Everybody know Leo was too small for Gervonta. And that's kind of how this fight played out. Leo was outboxing Gervonta up until Gervonta was able to realize, I can take his best shot. Now I'm just going to walk to him and get him out of there. And that's exactly how this fight with Barrios played out. I'm more interested to see who's this kid going to fight when he fights somebody with real power. But hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Gervonta Tank Davis is the real deal? Do you think he has proven himself to be a real fighter, a legit fighter? Do you think that the weight class is just as padded as Adrian Broner's? Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think. I think the kid is a paper champion, quite honestly. I just do. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I just do. You know what I mean? The names on his resume just isn't that great. Yes, like I said, he beat Leo Santa Cruz, who is a top name at the lower weight classes. He did just beat Mario Barrios. But neither one of those guys have real knockout power. None of those guys have real power that can hurt somebody and hurt a guy like Gervonta, who is built on walking you down and then hitting you with hard power shots and getting you out of there. And that's what he is. That's why they call him Tank, because he hits like a tank. He walks you down, he takes your best shot after a few times, then he starts to put that high guard up, and then he just starts catching you with clean, hard knockout shots. He needs to fight somebody like that. Or at least somebody with good, reasonable power. And if he can do that and beat that person, you will hear me sing his praises. You will not hear me say anything bad. You will hear me say this guy is the real deal. But until that happens, I'm not 100% sold. But hit that comment section and let me know what you guys think about this topic. Gervonta Tank Davis wins his third title in as many weight classes. Do you think Gervonta is the real deal? Or do you think his weight class, his 3 titles in 3 weight classes is kind of eerily similar to Adrian Broner's, and do you think he'll have the same hiccups as Broner did later on down the line against much tougher, much more hard-hitting opposition? Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. This is 717 Sports Chat Live. I am your host, Marcus J. And before we head out of here, one more time, if you choose to, this is only by choice, If you want to donate to the show, it'd be greatly appreciated. The cash tag is MJW62089. Again, cash tag MJW62089 if you want to donate to the channel. All donations will go towards new camera work, better computer. There's more everything to make the show better. I will be purchasing a green screen to put back here this week, etc. I'm just trying to build this show up, build this channel up as best as I possibly can. If you can help as the viewer, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I will also have better deals and contests, etc. for merch, free merch options as well. All that will be coming up here very soon. Just bear with me. We are still in the opening stages of this channel and this show. So, like I've said many times before, we're crawling before we walk. But hopefully sooner or later we can start walking and then maybe start running with this thing. But once again, if you want to donate to the channel, MJW, cash tag MJW62089. There it is right there. If you happen to be across the YouTube channel and you don't see it, if you don't see this video but happen to be going across the YouTube channel and want to make a donation, hit the about section. It's on my links description. Cash tag MJW62089 if you want to make a donation to the show. Be greatly appreciated. If not, that's fine. Just hit that, drop that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan of sports, if you like talking about, I mainly cover UFC, well, MMA, boxing, basketball, and football. That's the main sports I cover. But if you do happen to have a sport like baseball or anything else that you want me to take a look at, certain highlights or a certain, play or something that you want me to take a look at, feel free to hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys, want me to talk about. I'm always open to talk about different sports and new subjects. You know what I mean? Hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys want. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, this is 717 Sports Chat Live. I'm your host, Marcus J. And I'm about to be out of here for the night. Everybody in the 717 and abroad, have a blessed evening. Stay safe out there. And I will catch you guys later.